The call came at 8 in the morning. Melissa's voice, tight and strange. "Dad, whatever you do, don't park your car in the garage today." I stood in the kitchen, coffee cup halfway to my mouth. Through the window, the neighbor's crow watched me from the rain gutter. "Why not? Please, just this once, trust me." The line went dead. I looked at the garage door, closed. Before we continue, tell me where you're watching from in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories reach. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe. New stories every day. I'd been parking in there for 11 years, ever since Rebecca insisted we install the automatic opener. She said it was convenient, said it protected the cars from the Oregon rain. I set the coffee down. My left knee ached, always did when the weather changed. The accident at the plant had taken care of that, along with my job, my insurance rating, and whatever pride I'd had about providing for my family. 3 years on disability. 3 years of Rebecca's tight smiles when people asked what I did now. I grabbed my keys and went outside. The driveway was wet. The crow lifted off and circled once before settling on the telephone wire. I backed the Accord out and parked it on the street, 2 houses down. Mrs. Chen from next door looked at me through her front window. I waved. She didn't wave back. When I came inside, Rebecca was in the bathroom, shower running. Her phone sat on the kitchen counter, screen dark. I didn't touch it. I'd learned that lesson. She came out 20 minutes later, hair still damp, makeup careful. "You're parked on the street," she said. "Needed to make room." "For what?" "Things." She looked at me for 3 seconds. Her expression didn't change. "I have a meeting downtown. I'll be back around 6. "Okay." She took her phone, her purse, her laptop bag. The garage door opener was clipped to her sun visor. I heard the motor engage, the door rolling up. Her Camry started. The door rolled back down. I stood at the kitchen window and waited. The rain picked up around 10. I made another pot of coffee. The crow came back, settled on the roof across the street. I watched it preen its wings. At noon, I looked out the window again. There was a car in my garage. Not Rebecca's. A silver Lexus SUV, Oregon plates 4HVN29. I knew that car. I'd seen it in our driveway 4 times in the last 2 months. Patrick Moran, Rebecca's colleague, the one she had dinner with after networking events, the one who texted her during movies, during dinners, during the quiet hours when she thought I was asleep. I stood very still. The garage door was closed. The house was silent. I could hear my own breathing. I pulled out my phone and took a picture through the window. The angle was wrong. You couldn't see the license plate clearly, but you could see the silver paint, the make, the model. You could see it was inside my garage, behind my door, in my house. I opened the drawer under the microwave. The old garage remote was still there, the one from before Rebecca upgraded the security system 3 weeks ago. She'd told me to throw it away. I hadn't. I could open that door right now, walk out there, see whatever there was to see. I didn't. Instead, I went to the bedroom and opened the closet, Rebecca's side. Behind the shoe rack, there was a small lockbox. I'd seen her open it once, years ago. She thought I'd been asleep. The combination was our anniversary, 0614. It opened. Inside, a second phone. Cheap, prepaid. A stack of cash, maybe $2,000. A receipt from a locksmith, dated 3 weeks ago. New garage door remote, new entry code, $340. I took a picture of everything. I put it all back exactly as I'd found it. When I returned to the kitchen, the crow was gone. At 6:15, Rebecca came home. I was sitting at the table, newspaper open, reading nothing. "How was your day?" she asked. "Quiet." She set her purse down. "I'm exhausted. Do we have leftovers?" "Fridge." She reheated pasta. We ate in silence. She checked her phone 4 times. I didn't ask who was texting. At 8:30, my phone buzzed. "Melissa, did you park on the street?" I typed back, "Yes." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "I'm sorry, Dad." I stared at the message. Rebecca was in the living room watching something on her laptop, headphones in. I typed, "For what?" No response. I went to the window. The garage door was closed. The street was empty. The rain had stopped, but the pavement still gleamed under the streetlights. I looked at the drawer where I'd hidden my phone, the one with all the pictures. I looked at Rebecca in the living room. Her face lit blue by the screen. I thought about Melissa's voice that morning. Shaky, afraid. She'd known. My daughter had known, and she'd tried to protect me. But she hadn't told me everything. I didn't confront Rebecca. That's what she expected, I think. Some explosive moment. Shouting, tears, the neighbors hearing everything through the walls. That's how normal people handle betrayal. I wasn't normal anymore. 3 years of disability paperwork teaches you patience. Teaches you that the system doesn't care about your anger. It cares about documentation. So I documented. Tuesday morning, Rebecca left at 7:45. Client breakfast, she said. I wrote it down in a small notebook I kept in the kitchen drawer, under the takeout menus. Time, stated reason, clothing, gray suit, the one she saved for important meetings. Her Camry pulled out. I counted to 60. Then I went to the living room window. The silver Lexus drove past at 8:20. It didn't stop. It parked 3 blocks down, in front of the elementary school. I could see it from the upstairs bathroom window if I stood on the left side. At 8:55, Rebecca texted, "Meeting running long, home by 2. At 9:30, the Lexus was gone. I downloaded an app called Car Watch. $15 a month. You put a small GPS tracker under your car, magnetic, attaches to the frame. I'd bought one at an auto parts store in Hillsborough, paid cash. It took me 10 minutes to crawl under the Accord and place it. My knee screamed. I didn't care. The app showed me everywhere my car went. Thursday, Rebecca asked to borrow it. Camry's making a weird noise. I'll take it to the shop tomorrow. Sure. She left at 9. According to Car Watch, the Accord drove to a parking lot behind a Safeway on Canyon Road. It stayed there for 3 hours. Then it moved exactly 200 meters to a residential street and parked. When Rebecca came home at 4, she said, "Mechanic says it's fine, just a loose belt." Good. That night, I accessed our joint bank account on the desktop computer in the spare room. Rebecca thought I didn't know the password. I'd watched her type it in 6 months ago. Melissa 1998. Our daughter's name and birth year. I went back 12 months. There were withdrawals I didn't recognize. ATM, always on Thursdays. $850, like clockwork. Sometimes $900. Notation, cash, household. We didn't need $850 in household cash every month. Our mortgage was auto-pay. Utilities were auto-pay. Groceries went on the credit card for points, Rebecca's idea. I added it up. Over 12 months, $10,200. I took screenshots, saved them in a folder labeled Taxes 2019. Rebecca never looked at old tax folders. Friday afternoon, Melissa came over. She looked tired, thinner than last month. She worked from home most days. Graphic design, freelance, the kind of income that disappeared some months and doubled others. She'd been talking about getting a studio closer to Portland, but rent kept climbing. We sat in the living room. I made tea. She didn't drink it. "How are you, Dad?" "Fine." "Mom said you've been quiet." "I'm always quiet." She looked at her hands. There was a bruise on her wrist, faint yellow-green, old. "Did you fall?" I asked. "What?" I pointed. She pulled her sleeve down. "It's nothing. Carrying boxes." We sat in silence. The crow landed on the fence outside. Melissa watched it. "You knew," I said. "Dad, you called me that morning, told me not to park in the garage." Her eyes filled. She didn't cry. "I didn't know what to do. You could have told me." "And say what? That I saw—" She stopped, swallowed. "I can't be in the middle of this." "You're already in the middle." She stood up. "I have to go." "Melissa." She grabbed her bag. At the door, she turned. Her face was pale. "She's going to Seattle next week. 4 days. Some conference." "Okay. Dad, I don't think she's going to Seattle." The door closed. I went to Rebecca's laptop that night. She'd left it on the kitchen counter, plugged in, screen dark. I knew her password for this too. Becca 2014, the year we bought the house. Her email was open. I scrolled back 2 weeks. There was a deleted folder. I clicked it. 37 messages from Patrick Moran. Work address, but the content wasn't work. Dinner reservations. Hotel confirmations. One message. "Can't wait to have the place to ourselves. You deserve this." Date sent 6 days ago. I took pictures with my phone, every message, every confirmation number. Then I saw the other folder. Legal. Personal. I clicked. 3 emails from a law firm in downtown Portland. Subject lines: Initial consultation confirmation. Division of assets. Oregon overview. Disability income and spousal support. The most recent was dated 10 days ago. I read it twice. Rebecca had been researching divorce, specifically how much of my disability settlement she could claim. The answer, according to the lawyer, potentially 30 to 40%, depending on how it was classified. The house, bought with my savings from before the accident, would be split 50-50 under Oregon law. There was a line in the email that stuck with me. In cases of permanent disability, courts often reduce spousal support duration if the disabled party is deemed unable to maintain prior standard of living. Recommend we discuss strategy for minimizing your financial obligation. I closed the laptop. The kitchen was dark, except for the light over the sink. I could see my reflection in the window. Gray hair, thinner than last year. Face I didn't recognize. I opened the drawer and looked at the old garage remote. I could have used it that first day. Could have opened the door, walked out there, seen them together. Made a scene. Given Rebecca exactly what she wanted. Evidence of my instability, my inability to handle stress, my unsuitability as a spouse. Instead, I had screenshots, timestamps, GPS data, bank records. The law doesn't care about your pain. It cares about proof. Sunday, Rebecca announced it at breakfast. I'm going to Seattle Wednesday, accounting conference. Back Sunday. Okay. You'll be all right? I'm always all right. She smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. I'll leave money for groceries. That afternoon, I checked Patrick Moran's Facebook. He didn't post often, maybe once a month, but his Instagram was public. Wednesday evening, there was a new post. Photo of a coffee cup on a wooden table. Caption: Staycation mode. The background was blurred, but I could make out a window. Cream-colored curtains. A lamp with a brass base. I walked into our living room. Same curtains, same lamp. I took a picture of my screen. Then I called Melissa. She answered on the 5th ring. Dad? She's not in Seattle. Silence. Melissa, I need you to tell me what you know. I can't. You called me that morning. You knew he was coming. How? Her voice broke. I saw a text on her phone 2 months ago. I was here for dinner, and she left it on the counter. I didn't mean to look, but... She stopped. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Did you see anything else? No, I swear. Just that one message. Dad, I wanted to tell you, but what? She's my mother. I closed my eyes. I know. I don't want to lose both of you. You won't, but I didn't know if that was true. Thursday morning, I went to the spare room and organized everything into a folder. Physical folder, the kind with metal clasps. I printed the bank statements, the screenshots, the GPS logs, the photos, 43 pages. I put it in the closet behind the winter coats. Then I sat at the kitchen table and waited for Rebecca to call. She did, at noon. Hey, how are you? Fine. How's the conference? Boring. Lots of tax code updates. I could hear traffic in the background. Portland traffic, not Seattle. I'll probably stay an extra day. They added a workshop I want to attend. Okay. Love you. You too. I hung up. The crow was back on the fence. It cocked its head and looked at me. I looked back. Rebecca didn't come home Sunday. She called at 6 in the evening. The workshop ran late, and there's a networking dinner tonight. I'm going to stay until Monday. You don't mind, do you? No. Have you been taking your medication? I looked at the empty pill bottle on the counter. Yes. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow. She didn't. Monday night, another call. They offered me a chance to sit in on advanced sessions Tuesday and Wednesday. It's a really good opportunity. Okay. Kenneth, are you sure you're all right? I'm fine. I left money in the drawer. Order something if you need to. There was no money in the drawer. There never had been. I hung up. The pain in my knee had spread to my hip. Without the anti-inflammatory, everything tightened. I could walk, but not far, not well. I'd requested a refill 2 weeks ago. Rebecca said she'd pick it up. She hadn't. I called the pharmacy. They said the prescription was ready, had been for 12 days. I could pick it up anytime. I couldn't drive. The Accord was still wherever Patrick had left it last. Car watch showed it parked on a side street near Rebecca's office. She'd taken the Camry to Seattle. I thought about calling Melissa. Didn't. Instead, I microwaved soup. Ate it standing at the sink. The house was too quiet. We'd lived here 11 years, and I'd never noticed how the silence pressed against the walls. Tuesday morning, I went through the house room by room. I don't know what I was looking for. Evidence, maybe. Or just something to do. In the guest room closet, behind a box of old tax returns, I found a blue folder. Inside, a document. 22 pages, printed, stapled. Purchase and sale agreement. Residential property, our address. Seller, Rebecca and Kenneth Walsh. Buyer, Crestview Property Solutions, LLC. Sale price, $485,000. The house was worth at least $520,000. I knew because I'd checked Zillow last month after seeing the neighbor's place listed. There was a signature line for me. It was blank, but Rebecca's signature was already there, dated 3 weeks ago. Below it, a notary stamp. Below that, a handwritten note. POA draft pending. Confirm with title company by 10:15. POA, power of attorney. I sat on the floor of the guest room and read the document twice. Rebecca was planning to sell the house. She'd already negotiated the price, already signed. The only thing missing was legal authority to sign for me. I checked the date. October 15th was 93 days away. I took pictures of every page. Then I kept searching. In the same closet, under a stack of old linens, there was a manila envelope. No label. Inside, bank statements. Not our joint account. Columbia Credit Union. Account holder, Rebecca Walsh. I didn't recognize the account number. I flipped through the statements. The account had been opened in April 2021, 14 months ago. The opening balance, $31,200. I stopped breathing. I went back through our joint account records, the ones I'd printed last week. In March 2021, there was a deposit, $47,600. Notation, home equity refinance. We'd refinanced the house that spring. Rebecca said we needed to pay off the credit cards, lower our monthly payments. I'd signed the papers without reading them carefully. My knee was bad that month. I was on heavy painkillers. The refinance had given us $47,600. Only $16,400 had gone into the joint account. The rest had gone into Rebecca's secret account. I looked at the statements. There were regular withdrawals, $850 a month, same as the ATM pattern, and transfers, $200 here, $900 there, to an account I didn't recognize. The most recent statement was dated June 2024. Current balance, $24,950. She'd taken $31,200 of our home equity. Our house, the one I'd bought with savings from before the accident, before the disability, before everything fell apart, and she'd hidden it. I put the statements back exactly as I'd found them. Folder, envelope, linens, closet. Then I went to the kitchen and sat at the table until the light changed and the shadows stretched across the floor. The crow didn't come that day. Wednesday afternoon, the mail came. I heard it hit the slot in the front door. I didn't get up right away. My hip had locked, and standing took time. When I finally made it to the door, there were 3 envelopes, 2 bills. One large brown envelope with a return address I didn't recognize, Mediation Services of Oregon, LLC. I opened it. Notice of mediation, dissolution of marriage. Petitioner, Rebecca Ann Walsh. Respondent, Kenneth James Walsh. Date of mediation, August 4th, 2024. Location, Multnomah County Courthouse, Room 3B, 19 days. I read the attached documents. Rebecca was filing for divorce on grounds of irreconcilable differences. She was requesting 50% division of all assets, including the house, vehicles, and retirement accounts. She was requesting spousal support, temporary, she claimed, just until she re-established financial independence. There was a section on my disability income. She was claiming it as marital property, subject to division. I'd been injured at work. I'd spent 2 years fighting for that settlement. The insurance company had denied me twice. I'd appealed, submitted to 3 independent medical evaluations, sat through depositions where lawyers implied I was faking. The settlement was $68,000. It was supposed to last. Supposed to cover what I couldn't earn anymore. Rebecca wanted 30%. $20,000 to $400. I set the papers on the table. The house was silent. I thought about the blue folder in the guest room, the secret account, the $850 withdrawals, the draft sale agreement with my signature line blank. I thought about Melissa's voice on the phone. She's my mother. I thought about the 11 years I'd spent in this house, the kitchen I'd repainted in 2016, the deck I'd built in 2018, before the accident, when I could still kneel and swing a hammer for hours, the garden Rebecca said she wanted, the one I'd planted and weeded and watered while she worked late. I thought about the lockbox in the closet, the second phone, the cash. The mediator's notice said I had 14 days to file a response. I didn't have a lawyer. I didn't have money for a lawyer. I didn't have medication or a car or anything except a folder of printouts and a knee that wouldn't stop aching. I looked at the papers on the table. Then I looked at the phone. I could call Melissa. She'd come. She'd cry. She'd tell me she was sorry, that she didn't know what to do, that she loved us both. And then she'd leave. Or I could call Rebecca. Ask her why. Ask her how long. Ask her if any of it had been real. And she'd lie. I didn't call anyone. Instead, I opened my laptop. I searched, divorce lawyer, Portland, Oregon, disability. The first result was a law firm downtown, Tran and Associates, specialization, family law, asset division, fraud. There was a contact form. I filled it out. Name, Kenneth Walsh. Issue, divorce, asset concealment, fraudulent refinancing. Urgency, high. I hit send. Then I went to the window. The street was empty. The sky was gray, the way it always was in July before the heat broke through. The crow landed on the fence. It looked at me. I looked back. Okay, I said. My voice sounded strange in the empty kitchen. Okay. Thursday, Rebecca came home. She walked in at 3 in the afternoon, suitcase rolling behind her, laptop bag over her shoulder. Hey, she said. Sorry I was gone so long. The conference was incredible. I was sitting at the table. The mediator's envelope was in the drawer. The blue folder was in the closet. The secret account statements were under the linens. How was it? I asked. Exhausting, but worth it. She set her bags down. Did you eat? Yeah. She opened the fridge. We need groceries. Okay. She looked at me. Really looked, for the first time in days. You seem tired. I'm fine. She closed the fridge. Kenneth, I know this hasn't been easy. Me being gone. I'm sorry. I nodded. She came closer, put her hand on my shoulder. Her wedding ring caught the light. White gold, small diamond. I'd saved for 6 months to buy it. I love you, she said. I looked at her hand. Then I looked at her face. I know, I said. She smiled. I didn't. Vanessa Tran's office was on the 4th floor of a building downtown, 10 blocks from the courthouse. Melissa drove me. She didn't ask questions, just pulled up at 8:45 Tuesday morning and waited while I got in. My hip still hurt. The pharmacy had finally delivered my medication yesterday. Rebecca said she'd found the receipt and called it in. I'd taken 2 pills. They hadn't kicked in yet. Dad, Melissa said as we pulled away from the curb. Don't. I know. She drove in silence, parked in a garage 2 blocks away, walked with me to the building. At the elevator, she stopped. Do you want me to come up? No. Okay. She handed me her phone. Call when you're done. I took the elevator alone. Vanessa Tran was 40, maybe 45. Black suit, short hair, no jewelry except small silver earrings. Her office was neat. Desk, 2 chairs, a bookshelf full of legal codes. No pictures. No plants. She shook my hand. Mr. Walsh, please sit. I sat. I put the folder on her desk. 43 pages, plus the photos from my phone, which I'd printed at the FedEx on Burnside yesterday. Total, 62 pages. She opened it. I didn't say anything, just watched her read. She went through every page, took notes on a yellow pad, asked 3 questions. When did you install the GPS tracker? Did you access her email with her knowledge? Have you discussed any of this with her directly? My answers, July 9th. No. She finished reading, closed the folder, looked at me. Mr. Walsh, are you aware your wife committed fraud? I thought so. You thought correctly. She tapped the folder. The refinancing in 2021, you signed those documents? Yes. Did you read them? Not carefully. I was on painkillers. Who handled the closing? Rebecca. She said she'd take care of everything. Vanessa made another note. The proceeds were $47,600. You saw $16,400. She diverted the rest into an account you didn't know existed. That's fraudulent misrepresentation, possibly forgery, depending on how the funds transfer was authorized. I nodded. The sale agreement for the house, the one with the power of attorney draft. Did you grant her POA? No. Did she ask? No. Then she was planning to forge it or coerce you into signing. Vanessa leaned back. The GPS tracking, that's legally ambiguous. The car is registered in your name, correct? Yes. Then you're within your rights. The email access is murkier, but given the evidence of fraud, a judge will likely overlook it. The bank records are clean. Joint account? You have equal access. She pulled out a new folder, started writing. Here's what we're going to do. First, I'm filing an emergency motion to freeze all accounts, joint and individual. That includes the Columbia Credit Union account. Second, I'm requesting a forensic audit of the 2021 refinancing. Third, I'm filing a counter-petition for divorce on grounds of fraud and financial abuse. Fourth, I'm requesting full asset disclosure under oath. She looked up. This will escalate quickly. Your wife will know within 72 hours. She'll hire counsel. It will get expensive. How expensive? For you? I work on contingency for fraud cases. If we recover the concealed assets, I take 30%. If we don't, you pay nothing. For her? She'll spend $10,000 to $20,000 on a good lawyer. I thought about the $2,450 in the secret account. Do it, I said. Vanessa nodded. One more thing. The mediation on August 4th, we're not attending. I'm filing a motion to continue until discovery is complete. That buys us time. How much time? 60 to 90 days. I looked at the folder on her desk. My folder. 2 weeks of work. 2 weeks of silence and documentation and patience. What are my chances? I asked. Vanessa met my eyes. If everything here is accurate, 80% we recover the concealed funds. 60% we get a favorable asset division. 40% we get her to pay your legal fees. And if it's not accurate, then we're in trouble. But Mr. Walsh, she tapped the folder again. This is some of the most thorough documentation I've seen from a non-lawyer. You did good work. I didn't feel good. I felt tired. Melissa was waiting at a coffee shop on 3rd Avenue. She bought me a cup. Black, no sugar, the way I always drank it. We sat outside. It was warm. Mid-80s. Unusual for Portland in July. How did it go? She asked. Fine. Dad. She's filing motions. Freezing accounts. It'll take a few months. Melissa looked at her hands. Mom's going to be upset. I know. She's going to call me. Probably. What do I say? I sipped the coffee. It was bitter. Whatever you want. She looked at me. Her eyes were red. I don't want to choose. You already did. The day you called and told me not to park in the garage. She flinched. I'm not mad, I said. You tried to protect me. That's enough. Is it? I didn't answer. We sat in silence. A crow landed on the sidewalk near our table. It hopped closer, watching us. Melissa threw it a piece of croissant. It grabbed it and flew away. You should go, I said. I'll take the bus. Dad, go. She left. I finished my coffee. Took the bus home. It took 40 minutes. My hip ached the whole way. Rebecca was at the table when I got home. She looked up. Her face was calm. Where were you? Doctor's appointment. Melissa drove you? Yes. She nodded. How did it go? Fine. Just a checkup. She looked at me for 5 seconds. Then she went back to her laptop. I went to the bedroom. Lay down. Stared at the ceiling. At 6:30, my phone rang. Melissa. Dad, she knows. I sat up. What? She just called me. Asked if I took you somewhere this morning. I said yes to the doctor. She asked which doctor. I didn't know what to say. What did you say? I said I didn't remember. She said that was convenient. Melissa's voice cracked. Dad, she knows. I don't know how, but she knows. I closed my eyes. It's okay. It's not okay, she said. She said I betrayed her, that I chose you over her. You didn't choose. You just told the truth. She doesn't see it that way. Melissa, I have to go. She hung up. I sat on the edge of the bed. Through the door, I could hear Rebecca typing. The sound was sharp, rhythmic. I waited. At 7:15, Rebecca came into the bedroom. She stood in the doorway, arms crossed. You hired a lawyer. I looked at her. Yes. When? Last week. And you didn't think to tell me? No. Her jaw tightened. What are you doing, Kenneth? Protecting myself. From what? I stood. My hip protested. I didn't care. From you. She laughed. It was cold. This is insane. You're being paranoid. Am I? Yes. Jesus, Kenneth. I asked for a mediation, a conversation. And you respond by, what? Attacking me. I'm not attacking, I'm defending. With a lawyer? She stepped closer. How are you even paying for this? You don't have money. Contingency. Her face changed. Contingency. Which means... She stopped. What did you tell them? The truth. And what truth is that? I held her gaze. The refinancing. The account at Columbia Credit Union. The $31,000. She went still. The GPS tracker on the Accord, I continued. The emails from the divorce lawyer. The sale agreement in the guest room closet. Her expression didn't change, but her breathing did. You went through my things. Our things, I said. Our house, our account, our refinancing. You had no right. I had every right. She stepped back. You're going to regret this, maybe. I'll take everything. The house, the car, your settlement, everything. You can try. She turned and walked out. I heard her grab her purse, her keys. The front door slammed. The Camry started. Drove away. I stood in the bedroom for a long time. Then I went to the kitchen, sat at the table. The house was silent again. Her laptop was still on the counter. She'd left in a hurry. I didn't touch it. I looked at the window. The sky was pink, fading to gray. The crow was on the fence. It watched me. I watched it back. On the table, next to the salt shaker, Rebecca's wedding ring sat in a small circle of light. She'd taken it off. I picked it up, held it between my thumb and forefinger. The diamond caught the last of the sunlight. I put it back down. Then I opened my laptop and checked my email. There was a message from Vanessa Tran sent an hour ago. Motions filed. Account freeze approved. Forensic audit scheduled for Aug 2. Expect formal response from opposing counsel within 5 business days. Stay strong. I closed the laptop. Outside, the crow lifted off the fence and disappeared into the dusk. The mediation was scheduled for 9 a.m., August 4th. Vanessa picked me up at 8:15. She drove a gray Honda, clean interior, nothing personal visible. We didn't talk much on the way downtown. You ready? She asked as we parked. Yes. Remember what we discussed. You don't speak unless I tell you to. You don't react to anything Rebecca says. You sit, you listen, you let me work. Okay. And Kenneth, she looked at me. This is going to be hard. She's going to say things about you. Things that aren't true. Don't take the bait. I nodded. We took the elevator to the 3rd floor. Room 3B was smaller than I expected. A conference table, 8 chairs, a window overlooking the street. Rebecca was already there with her attorney, a man in his 50s, expensive suit, silver hair. Gerald Pritchard, according to the nameplate in front of him. Rebecca looked at me once. Her face was blank. We sat across from them. A mediator joined us, a woman named Susan Delgado, court-appointed, neutral. She explained the process. Each side would present their case. She would facilitate discussion. The goal was settlement, not combat. Rebecca's attorney went first. Your Honor, my client has been the primary breadwinner in this marriage for the past 3 years. Mr. Walsh, due to his disability, has been unable to contribute financially. Mrs. Walsh has managed all household finances, all major decisions, while working full-time and maintaining the home. He slid a folder across the table. These are Mrs. Walsh's pay stubs for the past 3 years. As you can see, she earns $78,000 annually. Mr. Walsh's disability income is $21,000. Without her income, the household would not be sustainable. Pritchard continued. Mrs. Walsh is not seeking to punish her husband. She simply wants a fair division of assets accumulated during the marriage, 50% of the home equity, 50% of shared accounts. She is willing to forego spousal support if the division is equitable. He paused. Mr. Walsh, on the other hand, has chosen to pursue baseless accusations of fraud. He has made inflammatory claims without evidence. He has violated my client's privacy by accessing her personal communications. This is a pattern of controlling behavior that has escalated in recent months. Rebecca's face remained neutral, but her hands were folded on the table, knuckles white. Pritchard finished. We ask for a straightforward dissolution. No drama, no allegations, just a clean break. Susan Delgado looked at Vanessa. Counselor? Vanessa opened her briefcase. She placed 3 items on the table, a folder, a laptop, a flash drive. Your Honor, Mr. Pritchard's presentation is creative. It's also incomplete. She opened the folder. These are bank statements for a Columbia Credit Union account. Account holder, Rebecca Walsh. Opened April 2021. Initial deposit, $31,200. She slid copies to the mediator, to Pritchard, to Rebecca. This account does not appear in Mrs. Walsh's financial disclosure. In fact, Mrs. Walsh failed to mention its existence at all. Pritchard leaned forward. Your Honor, my client maintains a personal account. That's not unusual. It's unusual when the funds came from marital assets. Vanessa pulled out another document. In March 2021, Mr. and Mrs. Walsh refinanced their home. Financed. The proceeds were $47,600. Mr. Walsh believed these funds went into their joint account to pay down debt. She placed the refinancing documents on the table. $16,400 went to the joint account. The remaining $31,200 was diverted to Mrs. Walsh's secret account. Mr. Walsh did not learn of this account until 3 weeks ago. Rebecca's attorney started to speak. Vanessa held up a hand. I'm not finished. She opened the laptop. These are GPS logs from Mr. Walsh's vehicle, a 2019 Honda Accord. In July, Mrs. Walsh borrowed the vehicle on multiple occasions. She claimed she was taking it to the mechanic. Vanessa turned the screen toward the mediator. The vehicle did not go to a mechanic. It went to a parking lot on Canyon Road, where it remained for 3 to 4 hours. Then it was moved exactly 200 meters to a residential street. She pulled up another screen. These are text messages recovered from a shared iPad. Mrs. Walsh and Patrick Moran, a colleague. The messages discuss hotel reservations, dinner plans, and, I quote, having the place to ourselves. Pritchard stood. Your Honor, this is speculation. My client has a professional relationship with Mr. Moran. Sit down, Mr. Pritchard. Susan Delgado's voice was sharp. She looked at Rebecca. Mrs. Walsh, did you open an account at Columbia Credit Union in April 2021? Rebecca glanced at her attorney. He nodded slightly. Yes. Did you deposit $31,000 from the refinancing into that account? It was my money. I managed the refinancing. Answer the question. Rebecca's jaw tightened. Yes. Did you disclose this account in your financial affidavit? Silence. Mrs. Walsh? No. Susan Delgado made a note. Continue, Ms. Tran. Vanessa pulled out another document. This is a purchase and sale agreement for the marital home, dated June 17th. Seller, Rebecca and Kenneth Walsh. Mrs. Walsh's signature is present. Mr. Walsh's is not. She looked at Rebecca. The notation at the bottom says POA draft pending. Power of attorney. Mrs. Walsh was planning to sell the house without her husband's knowledge or consent. Pritchard's face had lost color. Your Honor, that document was exploratory. My client was simply exploring fraud. Vanessa's voice was cold. Because that's what this is. Asset concealment. Fraudulent conveyance. Possibly forgery. The room was silent. Then the door opened. Melissa walked in. She looked terrible. Hair pulled back. No makeup. Eyes red. She was holding a small flash drive. I'm sorry I'm late. Susan Delgado frowned. Miss Walsh, this is a closed mediation. I have evidence. Melissa's voice shook. Evidence that changes things. Vanessa stood. Your Honor, if I may, this is highly irregular. I understand. But if Miss Walsh has relevant material... Susan Delgado looked at Rebecca, then at Melissa. You have 2 minutes. Melissa handed the flash drive to Vanessa. It's video. From our neighbor's Ring doorbell. Mrs. Chen. She gave me permission to access it. Vanessa plugged the drive into her laptop, opened the file. The screen showed a driveway. Our driveway. The angle was from the house next door, looking across at our garage. The timestamp said July 11th, 2024, 9:47 a.m. A silver Lexus pulled into the frame, parked in our driveway. A man got out, Patrick Moran. He walked to the front door, used a key, went inside. Vanessa fast-forwarded. 1:32 p.m. Patrick exited, got in the Lexus, drove away. She opened another file. July 13th, same pattern, another file. July 18th, another. July 25th, 14 files total. 14 dates, all during business hours, all showing Patrick entering and leaving. Vanessa turned the laptop toward the mediator. Susan Delgado watched in silence. When the last video ended, she looked at Rebecca. "Mrs. Walsh, is that your home?" Rebecca didn't answer. "Is that Patrick Moran?" Rebecca's attorney leaned over, whispered something. She shook her head. "Mrs. Walsh, I'll ask once more. Is that Patrick Moran entering your home on 14 separate occasions during hours when your husband was present?" Rebecca's voice was barely audible. "Yes." "Did your husband know Mr. Moran was there?" "No." Susan Delgado closed her laptop. "Mr. Pritchard, your client has concealed assets, planned fraudulent sale of marital property, and conducted an extramarital affair in the marital home. I don't need to tell you how a judge will view this." Pritchard opened his mouth, closed it. "Here's what's going to happen," Susan continued. "Mrs. Walsh will provide full disclosure of all accounts, assets, and financial transactions for the past 3 years. The Columbia Credit Union account will be frozen pending final distribution. The purchase agreement for the home is void, and Mrs. Walsh will pay Mr. Walsh's legal fees." She looked at Vanessa. "Prepare an order. I'll sign it today." Rebecca stood. "This is insane. You're letting him destroy me over fraud?" Susan Delgado's voice was ice. "Sit down, Mrs. Walsh." Rebecca sat. Melissa was crying silently. She didn't look at her mother. We left the courthouse at 11:30. Melissa walked out with us. On the steps, she stopped. "Dad, I'm sorry. I should have. You did the right thing. She's never going to forgive me." I looked at my daughter, 26 years old, still young enough to believe forgiveness mattered. "Maybe not," I said, "but you'll forgive yourself." She wiped her eyes. "Mrs. Chen called me last week, said she had something I should see. She's been worried about you. Tell her thank you." Melissa nodded. She looked at Vanessa. "What happens now?" "Discovery, asset division. Final hearing in 60 to 90 days. Vanessa's voice was gentle. "It's going to be hard. For all of you. I know." Melissa hugged me, held on for a long time. Then she left. Vanessa and I stood on the courthouse steps. The sun was bright. Too bright. I squinted. "You did good," she said. "I didn't do anything. You did. You brought me the evidence. That's everything." We walked to her car. She drove me home. At the curb, before I got out, she said, "Kenneth, I need to ask, are you okay?" I thought about that. "No," I said, "but I will be." She nodded. I went inside. The house was empty. Rebecca's things were gone. Her laptop, her suitcase, the framed photo of us from 2015. Her wedding ring was still on the table. I picked it up, held it. Then I put it in the drawer with the takeout menus and the notebook where I'd tracked everything. I didn't need it anymore. The final hearing was October 12th, 97 days after the mediation, 97 days of depositions, forensic audits, and settlement negotiations that went nowhere until Rebecca's attorney finally advised her to accept terms. I didn't attend. Vanessa said I didn't need to. She'd call when it was over. I waited at home, the home that wasn't really mine anymore, that hadn't felt like mine since July. I sat in the kitchen and drank coffee and watched the clock. At 2:15, my phone rang. "It's done," Vanessa said. "And you get 68% of the house equity. That's approximately $212,000 after the mortgage is paid. Rebecca gets 32%, approximately $99,000. I didn't say anything. The Columbia Credit Union account is split 50-50. That's $12,000 for you, $12,000 for her. She keeps her retirement account. You keep yours. She pays your legal fees, $8,400. And Kenneth," Vanessa paused. She has no claim to your disability income. The judge ruled it's separate property under Oregon law. Okay, that's it? Okay? What else is there? She laughed. It sounded tired. Most people cry, or celebrate, or something. I'm not most people. No, she said. You're not. We talked for a few more minutes. Paperwork, timeline. The house would need to be sold. I had 60 days to list it. When I hung up, I looked around the kitchen. The table where we'd eaten dinner for 11 years. The window where I'd stood and watched and waited. The drawer where I'd kept the notebook, the remote, the ring. I felt nothing. That wasn't quite true. I felt tired and old, and like I'd won something that didn't feel like winning. I called Melissa that night. Dad? It's over. Silence. Then, what happened? I told her. The equity split, the fees, the disability income. That's good, right? She asked. Yes. You don't sound happy. I'm not unhappy. She was quiet for a moment. Have you talked to Mom? No. She called me yesterday, asked if I'd testify that you were controlling, that you monitored her movements, made her feel unsafe. I closed my eyes. What did you say? I said no. Her voice was small. She hung up. I'm sorry. Don't be. I made my choice. She took a breath. Dad, I've been thinking. When you sell the house, where are you going to go? I don't know yet. There's an apartment complex near me, in Beaverton, off Walker Road, 1 bedrooms. Quiet. I looked at the listings. There's one available next month. I opened my laptop, pulled up the website she texted me. The apartment was small, 700 square feet. 1 bedroom, 1 bath, galley kitchen, balcony overlooking a courtyard. Rent, $1,200 a month. It's close, Melissa said. Like 10 minutes. We could, I don't know, have dinner. Sometimes. I'd like that. Yeah? Yeah. I heard her breath catch. Okay. I'll send you the leasing office number. Thank you, Melissa. For what? For the flash drive. For Mrs. Chen. For calling me that morning in July. She was crying. I should have done more. You did enough. We stayed on the phone for another minute, not saying anything. Then she said she had to go, and we hung up. I looked at the apartment listing. Balcony, courtyard, quiet. I called the leasing office the next morning. The house sold in 41 days. A couple in their 30s. First-time buyers. They loved the deck, the garden, the neighborhood. They didn't ask why I was selling. I didn't tell them. The closing was November 22nd. I signed the papers in a title company office downtown. Rebecca signed separately an hour later. I didn't see her. The check was deposited November 26th, $212 and $340, minus closing costs. Final amount, $206,180. I moved into the Beaverton apartment December 1st. Melissa helped. She rented a U-Haul, packed boxes, drove me across town. We didn't talk much, just worked. The apartment was bare. White walls, beige carpet, a single overhead light in each room. I'd sold most of the furniture, kept the bed, a table, 2 chairs, a lamp. It's kind of empty, Melissa said, looking around. I'll get more. Do you want help? Not yet. She hugged me at the door. Call me if you need anything. I will. She left. I stood in the middle of the living room and listened to the silence. It was different from the silence in the house. Cleaner somehow. No history. I unpacked slowly. Clothes in the closet, books on the built-in shelf, dishes in the kitchen. The notebook, the one where I'd tracked everything, went into a box in the back of the closet. I didn't need it anymore, but I couldn't throw it away. December 7th, I got an email from Vanessa. Thought you'd want to know. Patrick Moran was terminated from his position effective 12/1. Company conducted internal investigation after receiving documentation on code of conduct violations. Details confidential, but thought you should know. I read it twice. Then I closed the laptop. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel vindicated. I just felt done. The apartment had a balcony. Small, maybe 4 feet by 6. Enough for a chair. I started sitting out there in the mornings. Coffee in one hand, watching the courtyard. There were trees, Douglas firs, a few maples. In December, the maples were bare, but the firs stayed green. A crow started showing up. I noticed it the second week. It would land on the railing, tilt its head, watch me. I didn't feed it, didn't encourage it, but it kept coming. One morning, it landed on the arm of my chair. Just sat there 3 feet away, preening its feathers. I looked at it. It looked back. "You've been following me," I said. It made a low sound, not a caw, something softer. "I don't have anything for you." It stayed. After a while, it flew off, but it came back the next day. Melissa came over for dinner on a Sunday in mid-December. I'd bought a small table, second-hand, scratched but sturdy. 2 chairs. I made spaghetti, jarred sauce, nothing fancy. Salad from a bag. She looked around the apartment. "It's starting to feel like a place." "Yeah. You need curtains." "Probably." We ate. She told me about work, a new client, a branding project for a startup. She was excited about it. It was good to hear her excited. "How are you?" she asked. "Fine. Dad, I mean it. I'm fine." She studied me. "Have you heard from Mom?" "No. She moved. To Teagard. Got an apartment near the mall." "Okay. She's dating someone." "Not Patrick." "Someone new." I didn't say anything. "Does that bother you?" Melissa asked. No. And it didn't. That was the strange part. I'd spent 11 years with Rebecca, built a life, a home. And now, nothing. No anger, no sadness, just distance. "What about you?" I asked. "Are you okay?" She looked at her plate. "I don't know. She won't talk to me. I've tried calling, texting. She shook her head. "It's like I don't exist. Give it time." "How much time?" "I don't know." She wiped her eyes. "I keep thinking I should have done something different. Said something different." "You did what was right." "Did I?" I reached across the table, put my hand on hers. "Yes." We finished dinner. She helped me clean up. Before she left, she hugged me at the door. "Same time next week?" she asked. "If you want." "I want." She left. I stood at the window and watched her car pull out of the lot. Then I went back to the balcony. The crow was there, on the railing. I sat down. It stayed. We watched the courtyard as the light faded. Christmas came and went. Melissa invited me to her place. We exchanged small gifts, a book for her, a new lamp for me. We watched a movie, drank hot chocolate. It was quiet, simple. She didn't mention Rebecca. I didn't ask. New Year's Eve, I sat on the balcony. It was cold. Low 40s. I wore a jacket. The courtyard was empty. Most of the neighbors were out, or inside with their families. I thought about the past 6 months. The phone call from Melissa. The silver Lexus in the garage. The lockbox. The mediator's office. The flash drive. I thought about the house, sold to strangers who'd never know what had happened there. I thought about Rebecca. Somewhere in Teagard, starting over. Maybe happy. Maybe not. I thought about Melissa, the price she'd paid, the relationship she'd lost. And I thought about myself, 52 years old, divorced, disabled, living in a 700-square-foot apartment with second-hand furniture and a crow that wouldn't leave me alone. I should have felt defeated. I didn't. I felt free, not happy, not yet, but free. The crow landed on the arm of my chair. It looked at me with one bright eye. I looked back. "Happy New Year," I said. It ruffled its feathers. Then it settled in, like it planned to stay. January 4th. My phone buzzed. Melissa. "Dinner Sunday?" I typed back, "Yes." 3 dots appeared. Then, "I'm making lasagna. Bring wine?" "Okay." I set the phone down. Outside, the courtyard was bright with winter sun. The bare maples cast long shadows on the grass. The crow was on the railing watching a squirrel. I stood up, stretched. My hip ached, but less than before. The new medication was working. I went inside, closed the sliding door. On the kitchen counter, my keys sat in a neat line. Car, apartment, mailbox. No garage remote, no lockbox combination, no notebook full of dates and times and evidence. Just keys. I picked them up, went to the door. Outside, the world was cold and clear. I walked to my car, started it, drove to the grocery store, bought wine, red, the kind Melissa liked. At the checkout, the cashier smiled. "How are you today?" "Good," I said. And I meant it. I drove home, parked, carried the wine upstairs. The crow was still on the balcony. It hopped aside as I unlocked the door. I set the wine on the counter. Opened the sliding door. The crow flew in, perched on the back of the chair. I didn't shoo it away. It stayed for 10 minutes, then flew back out. I watched it disappear over the trees. Then I sat at the table, opened my laptop, started looking at online classes, computer skills, bookkeeping, things I could do from home. The disability income was enough to live on, but I wanted more than enough. I wanted a future. Outside, the light shifted, gold to amber to gray. The crow came back. It landed on the railing, looked at me through the glass. I looked back. Then I stood up, opened the door, let the cold air in. The crow hopped inside, settled on the chair. "Okay," I said. My voice was steady. "Okay."